Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnav ko Sadhar Sab Prem Jai Shri Krishna. We continue with the reading of the biographies of the disciples of Sri Gosaiji, and today is day 51, continuing the story of Manik, Haridas's son-in-law. Part 1 continued. Then they all pleaded with Sri Gosaiji to come to their home, and they gave him lots of fresh supplies with which to cook. He cooked and made the offerings, etc., and then partook of prasad. They, however, all fasted for the whole day. The next day Sri Gosaiji gave them all the Brahma Sambandh initiation and presented them with the deity of child Krishna, Shri Balakrishnaji, to serve. They piped up, "O Maharaj, we know nothing about how to serve the Lord." Since Sri Gosaiji instructed Haridas's daughter in the ways of service and then told them all to follow her instructions, all the family members were thus most joyous. In this way, Manik and all the other family members thus became Vaishnavas through their connection with Haridas's daughter. Then they took their leave of Sri Gosaiji after making the best possible donations. He then left to go and have the holy sight of Sri Ranchoralalji. Thereafter, Haridas's daughter began to serve Sri Thakurji according to Sri Gosaiji's teachings and with great faith. He soon began to grant her the personal experience of his form. She would make very nice preparations for her beloved Sri Thakurji. He was happy to accept those offerings. One day, her mother-in-law cooked and made offerings to him. That evening, Sri Thakurji told her, "I like what your daughter-in-law prepares." Then he asked Haridas's daughter why she had not done the cooking that day. "I did eat today, but I don't like her cooking. I like the way you cook, so please would you always make the preparations?" That night, Sri Thakurji spoke to Sri Gosaiji. "Today Manik Chand's mother-in-law cooked for me. I didn't eat the offerings, but I like the cooking that Haridas's daughter prepares. Please then, when you leave this place, tell her not to cook for me any more. Tell her to leave the cooking up to her daughter-in-law." So when Sri Gosaiji was on his way back from Dwarka, his messenger came to their village and told Manik Chand and the others to get ready for Sri Gosaiji to come to their home. After arriving there, Sri Gosaiji did tell Haridas's daughter what Sri Thakurji had said. She responded, "Oh Maharaj, I don't know how to do anything, but the Lord is very kind. Through your auspices, Sri Thakurji accepts my offerings." Hearing this, Sri Gosaiji became delighted with her. He said to Manik Chand's mother, "You are getting old now, so please occupy yourself with the peripheral seva as much as you can. Manage. Let Haridas's daughter always bathe for cooking. Such work is better done by young people, and she is yet young." The mother-in-law replied, "After you presented us with our Sri Thakurji Swarup, I cooked just one day for him. He did not like my cooking. I'm not really able to cook." Hearing these words of hers, Sri Gosaiji kept quiet. He understood that Sri Thakurji himself had let her know these things. So after instructing her in this way, he said nothing more. Afterwards, he went to the Vaishnava who welcomed Sri Gosaiji most lovingly. There Sri Gosaiji bathed and prepared the offerings, made Sri Thakurji's seva, offered the lunchtime bhoga, and after accepting back the prasad and after giving prasad to the Vaishnava, also took rest. After this, and when he had partaken of the prasad, after he had partaken of prasad, that Vaishnava bowed to Sri Gosaiji and took his permission to sit with him. Sri Gosaiji asked the Vaishnava how Haridas's daughter was getting on. The Vaishnava told him all about their contact ever since the first day that they met. Hearing all of this, Sri Gosaiji was very pleased with him. Sri Gosaiji stayed at his home for 2 days, and on the 3rd day went to Manik Chand's house. When Sri Gosaiji expressed his need to travel on from there, Haridas's daughter became very obstinate and insisted that he stay. 3 or 4 days turned into 2 months. Then he left to go to Gokul, making as best a donation as possible. Manik Chand travelled a short way with him. He said to Manik Chand, "Haridas's daughter is a unique disciple of mine. Anyone who lives according to her instructions will be uplifted." Having said this, he let Manik Chand go and continued on his way. When he got home, Manik Chand told all the family members what Sri Gosaiji had said, and they all kept quiet after listening to these words. Haridas's daughter was such a recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. Part 2. Sometime later, Haridas travelled to Dwarka for the holy sight of Sri Ranchoralalji. He came to Manik Chand's village. Manik Chand recognised him because he looked so much like his wife. Haridas was walking on, but Manik Chand came down from his shop and fell at his feet, saying, "Jai Shri Krishna," and then conducted him to his shop. Haridas realised that Manik Chand was a Vaishnava and asked him whose disciple he was, to which caste he belonged, and also his name. Manik Chand then told him his name, village and caste, and told him that he was a disciple of Sri Gosaiji. Haridas began to have many regrets, thinking, see this suitable match, being Sri Gosaiji's disciple and living not too far away, would have been the best choice for my daughter. But I did not know this. Who knows in which place and to whom that priest married off my daughter? This man would have been a good husband for her. Manik Chand then asked him, Sir, what is your name? Whose disciple are you, and what is your caste? Haridas told him everything. When he heard that he was Sri Gosaiji's disciple, he fell at his feet, embraced and gave him much praise. He said, O Haridas, today you have fulfilled my life by coming here to my shop. Please accept some supplies and come to my house to cook and take prasad. Haridas took some supplies and went to Manik Chand's home with him. Manik Chand went inside and told his wife, Your father is at the door. You should go and invite him in. She told him not to joke with her, for how would her father have come there? Manik Chand said to her, Just go to the door and see for yourself. She went to the door and saw her father standing there. She touched his feet and they embraced. Haridas was so overjoyed and entered the house with his daughter. She began to cry bitterly. Haridas was also sobbing as he tried to console her. Then Haridas's daughter took the supplies and cleaned them, bathed and began to cook. The daughter then said to her father, Please also bathe into Seva. He did and went into the temple and awoke the Lord from his rest. When he had the holy sight of Sri Balakrishna Lalji, he was very happy and completed all the Seva. He made the evening offerings and then came outside of the temple. He sat down. His daughter said to him, You threw me into the middle of this worldly flow. Sri Gosaiji blessed me and saved me. Otherwise there was no place for me anywhere. I had thought of killing myself and blaming you. However, Sri Gosaiji changed my mind through my mother-in-law. Her mind was influenced by that Vaishnava, so you should know that all of this is the great grace of Sri Gosaiji. Hearing all of this, Haridas felt most ashamed. He entered the temple, accepted back the offerings as prasad, performed the waving of light ceremony, and then put Sri Thakurji to rest and took prasad. Then Manik Chand's parents and all the other family members met with Haridas. They praised their daughter-in-law profusely. Haridas was very happy to hear what they had to say. Manik Chand's mother also recounted him the whole episode about her cooking. Hearing the elevated position of his daughter made Haridas very happy. Manik Chand also informed the Vaishnava that Haridas had come to his home, and he also came to meet with Haridas. Haridas and the Vaishnava sat and discussed everything together. Then the daughter said to her father, This Vaishnava is full of strength and perseverance. It is through his power that all of these events have taken place. All the members of the Manik Chand's family began to praise the Vaishnava, but he interjected, Why are you praising me? You should praise Haridas. It is through him that you all got to attain the lotus feet of Sri Gosaiji. Haridas is such an accomplished Vaishnava who introduced Sri Gosaiji to the king's court so that the king and all the disciples of Varta became Sri Gosaiji's disciples. You should use him as the prime example of perseverance, for he was ready to give up his life, but he would not forsake Sri Gosaiji. No tongue can adequately praise him. Having discussed like this for a while, the Vaishnava returned to his home. After his morning ablutions, the next day Haridas was about to set off. His daughter became very lamentable. He said to her, O my dear daughter, in this very same way your mother is very anxious to see you. Therefore let me go home, and I will bring your mother here to be close to you. Soon, so, as you wish, let me go on my way. Hearing these words, the girl let her father leave. Haridas returned home to Varta and got ready all sorts of items that would be part of a dowry. Then he told his wife about their daughter. She said that yes, she would love to see her daughter again, and asked him to quickly take her there. She took lots of jewellery for her daughter, prepared their Sri Thakurji go with them, packed everything carefully and set off. They sent a man to tell the daughter that they were bringing their Sri Thakurji with them, so that she should get a new room for him with freshly filled water and a new stove, so that once Sri Thakurji reached him there, it would not take them too long to be ready for him. So we conclude the reading here for today, and tomorrow we will complete this Varta. So, Aaj ke Anand ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Shri Radhe.